Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are at like the farthest east. I mean, we're not even attached to mainland US now, are we?
It's not quite as far east, but it's close, about an hour.
Close, yeah.
Yep.
So we're in, where are we? We're Cape Cod?
We're in Wellfleet on Cape.
Wellfleet on Cape. Okay,
Yep.
so Massachusetts.
Yep.
And I am with Mr. Mark Hendrickson, my hero. we go back to the glory days on Instagram, following each other. And Mark is Mr. Efficient, but now you're working here.
Yep.
So Steve was supposed to meet us. So Steve Baczek, architect, classic. He's supposed to be here. I bet you that he is inside asleep. Give me 1 second. We're kind of used to this. He's kind of like the David Lee Roth of architects. Catch my drift? Yeah, he's went straight to voicemail. Okay, let's go find Steve and then let's do the walkthrough.
All right.
Hey, it's time for the tour.
Right now?
Yeah, Mark's ready. Oh. You don't want to make Mark mad. Let's go. We got stuff to do. Classic.
All right, here we are. It's about time.
About time.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about the project, Mark.
It was nice and warm in there, though.
So what we have here is we've got 11 buildings. The upper village is all going to be the townhouses. It is affordable housing inside of Wellfleet in Massachusetts. It's all going to be passive, and we're going to get a certification on it.
Let's go somewhere that's not as loud.
What?
That way. Let's
Oh.
go that way. Okay, Mark, so what are we looking at here? What is this stuff and what's the point of it?
So that is it's a Henry product.
It's a self-adhering?
It is. Yep. So yeah, and what we did is the A building and the B building were, a little bit interesting because they're the only ones that I have a walkout in the basement.
Okay.
So all the foundation I had to skin with that. It goes over the top of the stem and then onto the shelf and returns onto the wall on the inside. This is eventually going to get cut right about here so it can flap up, and then we're going to use a layer of zip tape right across it to to seal everything in.
So that reminds me of your detail. We're taking outside, well, tell me if I'm wrong. Outside air barrier and we're transitioning to
We're transitioning into the inside of the wall.
See, I'm
Yeah,
learning
we're
some of this
just
building science.
Doing it at the bottom of the wall, not
Okay,
at the top of the
instead
wall.
at the top of the wall. I've got a question for you. So your scope of work, you guys are prefabbing the walls.
Yes, sir.
So your prefabbed wall has a wood structural sheathing,
Yep.
and that has to be inspected before the zip goes on?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is here for what purpose? Like, why are we putting zip? And this is what, zip R12?
Yes.
How
Thermal.
thick is that?
2 inch.
2 inch?
2 inch polyiso.
So, yeah, it's a 2-inch ISO. So overall, you're the 2 7/16.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's just for thermal.
Yep.
And air barrier?
I mean, it's arguable. Is the panel underneath zip, or is
No.
it? No. Yeah. So this is
So
probably.
this would be
the
air barrier and thermal.
And this is the one you're taping this to. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
argue that this is
Okay.
probably the air barrier.
The advantage of the zip over the foam, right, is that we can fasten this right through to whatever.
Right.
Then the windows can go on this. We can tape it
Exactly.
one trip.
Yeah.
Especially because you guys are prefabbing all the structural. So for those that don't know what Zip R is, Steve, maybe you walk us through.
Zip R sheathing is because it has a thermal resistance component to it. In this case here, it's polyiso cyanurate. We got 2 inches with the 7/16 panel, integrated weather resistant barrier there, which makes up an exterior sheathing that is basically pre-insulated or comes insulated from the factory.
And the advantage to us is one panel doing 2 things.
The advantage is that you're putting up your weather-resistant barrier, your structural sheathing, and your thermal insulation in one shot.
Okay, but I see a problem with this. How are we supposed to attach this to the building?
You had nails or screws?
Okay,
You got to cowboy up.
that's an architect's answer, but as framers, we always have to take what they do and actually make it work in real life.
Ouch.
So you have to order a jumbo nail gun. And I think ours that I ordered shoots anywhere from a 4-inch nail up to like a 6 1/4. So on this particular project, because I have a layer of the structural sheathing on the end walls that was done in our shop, and that's a 5/8. I need 1.5 inches of bite into frame.
Into framing.
So on all of this, I had to use the big boys, the 4.5s.
So
Hey, wait a minute, because I have a framing question. Framer question.
you have the right guys.
Right? Yeah. Well, I got the right guys. So you guys are going to be impressed with my
Here,
question.
I'm just going to lean this against my shoulder.
The jumbo nailer. Is it harder to manage the pressure in a jumbo nailer than a smaller one because you need that much more force? The spectrum is obviously exaggerated, so I would think it'd be harder to manage not drilling the nail through the system or not leaving it short.
Which nailer are you using?
I have the Everwinds right now.
We got that giant boss stitch nailer,
Yep.
and it's pretty consistent.
So I do have a boss stitch as well, but
It's heavy.
yeah, do you like that one?
The guys like it better. I like the max high pressure better because it's a lot lighter,
Yep.
which I would highly recommend.
And that only comes in the sticks as well, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, giant nail.
Yeah. Yeah, we really have to, especially on the panels that we build in the shop that, you know, it just has a single skin of the Zip R12 that, you know, that we did there. I actually had to set up auxiliary air compressors because we were having problems with the pressure while we were running off the big one that runs our whole shop.
Yeah.
That way we're able to keep it a little bit more adjusted, and I've been trying to train the guys in the shop to, I would rather have you leave the nail head up a little bit and then we get out our hammers and we go flush.
We're paying $300 for hammers. We better use them for something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so two things I'm looking at the building.
Yep.
Who wants to live in a building with no windows?
I bet you it has windows. I bet you it has windows.
think it has windows?
looks like there's some tape missing and such that there's windows there that just haven't been cut out yet.
yeah, so I believe the first 3 buildings in the shop, we were, you know, instructed to leave the sheathing over the windows because it was going to be quite a few months until the windows came in. From the C building on, I cut out all the windows in the shop. So,
I could see an advantage today. It's windy.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, keep everybody comfortable inside.
Plumber, everybody.
Yep.
Security reasons.
Well, yeah, and for safety reasons too. It, you know, it also allows, you know, the electrician to come in and get up all the stringers and everything. So that, you obviously right behind you, you know, in the building, I have light, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm able to see.
We are
It's dark because there's no windows.
old electrician. Sometimes Dad would get him in. They would wire. It was my job to get on a 40-foot ladder and paper in the gables. And Stan was like, one house, they didn't paper the gables, and the electrical inspector made him pull all the wire and cut it up in front of him.
Really?
So he was really particular. You do not let the wiring get wet.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so there's a lot of advantages to what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. One other thing, aren't you? Instagram told me that you guys are running your panels the wrong way.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. You know how Instagram is.
Oh yeah. Well, if they want to take all that extra time to do all the blocking that's required when you run your sheets horizontally, I guess that's their choice.
Yeah.
I don't get on me because I'm trying to make it a little bit more efficient.
So they can go either way, but if we have to block the panel edges for your shear.
Yep.
Yeah. That determines it for us too.
Yep.
We're trying to minimize blocking and labor.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And you know, the less amount of blocking you have in the wall, the more insulation.
Yeah. You and I are residential framers by trade,
Absolutely.
which means that safety is a 4-letter word,
Yes.
or used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm noticing a few things here. Yeah, how different is this whole site for you as
It's
a resi
much
framer?
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what have you had to do differently to run the job?
Well,
Any training?
Yeah, I got my OSHA 30.
What is that?
My OSHA 30 is so I basically have a badge now, like I'm a police officer,
Nice.
and I get to go around and I get to tell everybody what they're doing that's unsafe.
Does it feel good?
It does. If I need to shut the job site down, I will shut the job site down.
I'd kind of like to see him do it.
I want to be OSHA 32.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve's going, he's already pretty authoritarian.
Yep.
He's an architect.
Yeah. So it's actually made me do a couple things that I probably should have done years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been good. I've learned a lot through the OSHA 30 classes. I just got my hoisting license, which is a 1C. Little miscommunication with our office manager, and she also signed me up for my 2A, which is an excavator's license, and I didn't study for it at all.
Oh, no.
And I passed it.
Nice. Well, you know what that proves?
So,
I always say framers.
That he's really smart.
Well, Mark's exceptional. Mark's exceptional.
I'm not going to badmouth excavators.
It proves that framers can do anything.
anything.
It just ask us.
Anything.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we have the biggest hands. We have the broadest shoulders.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. We're just not all super tall. So I noticed we walked past a whole pile of fire extinguishers. What's your policy here? Is there a fire extinguisher within?
In front of every unit and in the back of every unit. Yeah, you know, you can see behind you here that right now I have a controlled access zone that is, you know, it is only for us. Anyone else who tries to walk in, I can say no.
Yeah.
So.
And it's for their safety.
Well, yeah, because really, you're supposed to have. So as a framer, it's okay if I have guys up on the 3rd floor, and we're working on the floor like underneath them. But as you go from one tray to the other, I need 1 floor of separation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know your stuff.
A little.
He's Ocean 30.
He's OSHA 30.
He's Ocean 30.
Yeah, and this is required. I mean, we signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit of safety talk before we came in.
Yep.
All right, let's go inside. I can tell that Steve's getting a little chilly.
All right, I'm after you, buddy.
Do you need help?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure? Yeah. Mark, you need help? So as we're walking in here, Mark, I'm seeing a lot of LVL columns, but this one, so these two are supporting 4-ply LVLs.
Yes, sir.
What size are these floor joists?
This is the 14-inch on the townhouse.
So 14-inch floor trusses.
Yep.
They're hangered into these beams.
Yes, sir.
What in the world is this guy holding up?
These actually transfer from here through the floor, and they actually hold up the 3-ply LVL at the stair opening
Okay.
above.
All the way down to a big footing.
Yes.
Yeah, and the same over there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'm noticing gigantic hold downs
Yes. HD 19s.
with like 5 1-inch bolts.
1-inch bolts through the PSL, and then an 1.25-inch rod with a 27-inch embedment into concrete.
And do you have to go through the wall down to footing too, or just the wall?
All the way to the core of the earth.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
You can see up above that, we have an HTT5 3/4 rod, one at the top of this wall, obviously, and then one at the bottom of the wall up above, and a threaded rod through to connect them.
So Steve, I don't know if you know what that's called, but it's called tracing the load path.
Oh,
Yeah.
really cool. That cowboy hat has made you smart.
Yeah, smart, not cool, but just smart. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like.
Question the cool part. I think it's pretty cool.
Thank you, Mark. Framers, we got.
That's because it's your hat.
Yeah, I'll clean it before you get it back. I promise. Yeah, early on, our engineer, he would do walkthroughs with me, and that's what he said: is just if you have a piece of hardware, follow it all the way up, or if you're upstairs and you have a piece of hardware, follow it all the way down. That's a load path. So it's like, okay, it's not that hard,
Nope.
but it still gets missed oftentimes.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so and this guy's size bigger than that guy because as they go up and calculate the loads, they
absolutely.
don't. Aren't you glad you didn't have to install this guy off ladders?
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, I took a look at that thing for the first time, and I mean, I'm from Nebraska. I don't think anybody even knows what an HD19 is there. I know I sure didn't. You know, in the general notes of these plans, so something I've really noticed about the Northeast, you know, we're pretty close to the ocean, all the salt and everything else. Even interior hold downs on this project in particular, they call that hot dip galvanized.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Since we can see it in the light a little bit better. So what is this guy, and is that what was originally spec'd?
it's not. Originally it was a post base like we have over here. I forget the SKU on it off the top of my head. But so I had conversations, you know, with our main designer, who is a genius. And we were trying to figure out how we were going, you know, to get a post base in our wall that we were prefabricating at the shop. So we had a discussion with the engineer. They went ahead and accepted a DTT2Z, which is actually a tension tie
For decks.
It's a
Yeah.
sheer connection.
For like a guard post
Yes.
or attaching the ledger to the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or touching the joist through the ledger to the
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, we kind of had those changed on the fly, which, you know, it made it a lot easier on the install in the field. That's really one of the best, it's really one of the benefits of, you know, us doing all of our design in-house, especially since all of our designers, you know, are framers. So we're really, you know, able to make the process in the field a little bit easier if we see something that's like, that's a little bit hard to do.
Yeah,
So-
that's interesting because if we just built this in place, it wouldn't really matter so much.
Right, exactly.
You're shipping out prefab walls.
Yep.
Yeah, so field install.
Right, and we could, you know, we could have used the post bases. Then the post wouldn't have been integrated in the wall, and it's just a little more work and confusion on the assembly and,
Yeah.
you know, in the field. So
Yeah.
we just try to eliminate that as much as we can.
So that's why people should hire you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And this guy is huge.
Yeah. Yep, those are all 7x9.
7x9.
Yeah, they are massive. And yeah, the column caps on them are an ECC. I forget exactly what it is, but we got 3/4 through bolts.
I asked on our last one, they had them spec'd, but at 90s for this front porch.
Yep.
Can I get the Q version, which is the screws? And I was like, thank you for letting us do that. That saves a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little surprised that, you know, if you look at the post bases, it isn't nearly as massive, you know, as the caps. And, you know, here I'm not required a through bolt. I'm just required an SDF or an SDS screw, I believe.
Should we, can we head upstairs and take a look at anything?
Yep. Let's
okay.
go upstairs.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
All right, Mark, explain to me what this is.
So it's a style of handrail that I've been using for a lot of years, you know, especially on commercial sites. You know, it's called a slip. So, you know, what I do is, you know, I have a 2x4 here, and then I have a little 1/2-inch piece of plywood in here and another 2x4. So I'm able to attach these on my walls, you know, on the ground.
Okay.
As I fly them and they go up, I already have them there. So then the guys are able to just run around and attach.
Hold that in, Steve.
So, you know, I have a 2x4 here that I don't have to cut. I have another 2x4 here that I don't have to cut, and they just overlap each other. And that's really all I need on the fall protection.
Yeah, because we can't, when we push, it's resisted by these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and I have to have these every 8 feet. So then as I'm erecting the walls, I'll usually use, you know, a lift, fly my walls up, and as my guys run retractables up there, they're able to very easily reach out, remove these, and then use the 2x4s that they take out as the braces on the wall that is coming in.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So.
Awesome. You're a genius, man. You're a genius.
Should we go in?
All right, Mark, so we're talking load path from below.
Yep.
Is this that column that cuts through the floor that we were talking about below?
Yep, exactly what it is.
Okay. And it's now supporting this LVL, which carries these joists.
Yep.
So it's a good thing you put it there.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it's carrying all those joists. Yeah, the load path all the way from the basement.
Okay, Mark, I'm looking at, did you guys actually panelize and frame out the rake wall?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, you betcha.
Nice. We always do that on site because then we feel like we can't mess it up.
Yep.
Which reminds me, I have a story about when we messed up pretty bad last year. So the engineer spec'd all of these studs as LVL?
All the studs, all the jacks, all the cripples above the header, and all of the jacks in between the window openings. Yeah, everything was spec'd as an LVL. But, yeah, then you can see every one of these openings I get in. I believe each window, if it's a single window, I get a total of 14 A35 clips.
So all four sides, all four corners.
Sills on the top and bottom side, attached on the side of the king studs. This is actually dropped, and then these 2x6s here on the overhang, they carry through, and then I have an LUS 28 hanger actually upside down.
Yeah.
You know, on the
for all the
top.
lookouts.
But yeah, A35 clips on all the connections on the sills, the headers, the king studs, the jacks, everything.
So one thing, and then we have our hold down.
Yep.
So load path again.
Load path.
Structural, yeah.
Yep.
So I don't think we mentioned this before. This isn't an earthquake zone. Why do you guys have all this hardware?
Yep.
Uplifted and high wind.
Yeah.
I mean, we're within a few miles of the ocean, I'm sure, as the crow flies from here.
So that's why a lot of the details look like back home. We're seismic, and you guys are high wind.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Shear walls are shear walls,
Yes, they are.
whether it's the earth moving or
Yeah, the wall doesn't know the difference.
Yeah. So the ceiling in here will be all framed out of metal?
So this unit here, it's actually a vaulted ceiling.
Okay.
But everything on that side will all be framed out of metal and mechanicals up above.
Mechanicals up above. Okay. And I'll get some B-roll, but I see the butterfly roof, and hopefully I can get some drone footage. We'll see.
Yeah.
So then on top of that, we have to shed the water
Yep.
Yeah.
We just talked about they're doing
Yeah.
a cricket out of the insulation.
Yep.
out of the insulation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They'll
Nice.
build it up.
Nice job managing a project instead of just being the guy framing it.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal.
Right.
All right, Mark, thanks for having us out, man.
Yes, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
It definitely is. So go follow Mark Hendrickson on Instagram. And then what is your guys' company?
Cape Cod Panel.
Cape Cod Panel. So Google Cape Cod Panel. You can follow you guys on Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yep, you bet.
So what you, the viewer, might not know is that in the early glory days of Instagram, Mark was our hero. Kyle and I always used to watch Mark, and you just had a style. Everybody loves Mark.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's nice. Thanks for inviting
You got to
us.
bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, and did we mention this earlier? I don't think we did. Mark has probably the best taste in music, and nothing makes me happier than when my phone blows up with text. 10, like, what is it, Apple Music links in a row?
Yep.
Bands I've never heard of. I love it. Yeah. So, thank you for all the recommendations.
Yep, you betcha, man. Thank you.
Anything else that we should cover before we...
No,
We
I mean
bounce?
it's always great to see other perspectives on decisions and execution.
Yeah, yeah. Go follow Steve Baczek Architect. Just Google him, follow him on the Build Show. And you're already following me, I guess, if you're here at
If
the
you're
video.
here.
So just give the video a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to do your head nod. There it is.